What if the very person who's supposed to protect your neighborhood is secretly robbing it blind? What if the man fining you for a crooked fence is stealing tens of thousands from the entire community? That's the story you're about to hear. How one smug HOA president tried to ruin me, but instead, I turned the tables and destroyed his entire life. If you've ever dealt with a petty power tripper, smash that like button, subscribe, and buckle up, because this isn't just justice. It's revenge, served slow and satisfying. When I first moved into my suburban neighborhood, I was chasing peace. A little yard, some quiet weekends, neighbors waving hello. What I didn't expect was to walk into a dictatorship. At the top sat Todd, the HOA president, the kind of guy who lived for rules but only when they benefited him. His favorite pastime? Crushing homeowners with absurd fines. Trash cans left out 1 minute past 9 a.m., $200 fine. Fence a shade too light? $500 fine. And Todd did it all with a smirk. His own yard was a disaster. Illegal structures, a fence taller than city code, but no one dared call him out. He was untouchable. At least that's what he thought. The day he fined me $500 over a fence stain I couldn't even buy in stores anymore, I knew I wasn't just up against a neighbor. I was up against a tyrant. And deep in my chest, a voice whispered, "Take him down." Todd underestimated me. He thought I'd roll over, pay the fine, and sulk. Instead, I put on my best fake smile and volunteered for the HOA board. "I just want to get involved in the community," I said sweetly, and he bought it. For 2 years, I sat quietly at meetings, nodding along while secretly documenting everything. I watched how Todd bullied the board, buried dissenting voices in paperwork, and rigged votes when only his allies were present. On the surface, I was just another compliant neighbor. Inside, I was building a dossier. But here's the thing. Power-hungry people rarely stop at control. They want cash. And Todd? He wasn't just a bully. He was a thief. Our HOA fees were sky-high, way higher than other neighborhoods. But the pool was closed half the summer, the landscaping was a jungle, and the clubhouse looked abandoned. Where was all that money going? When I asked Todd for the budget, he laughed. "Don't worry, I've got it handled." Weeks turned into months with no answers. So I filed an official request, forcing him to cough up the numbers. He stalled, dodged, ignored, but whispers started surfacing. Neighbors claimed Todd had used HOA funds to install a patio at his house. Someone else saw his kids swimming in the pool during its so-called maintenance closure. The puzzle pieces were clicking. This wasn't bad management. It was embezzlement. Finally, Todd slipped. He turned over financial records, and they were a disaster. Invoices missing, payments mislabeled, expenses that made no sense. $15,000 for landscaping paid to a company that didn't even exist. Thousands labeled administrative costs with no receipts. I dug deeper, cross-referenced bank statements with public records, and there it was, the smoking gun. Todd was funneling HOA money directly into his personal accounts. He inflated contractor fees, pocketed the difference, and split profits with his shady buddy handling maintenance. I compiled everything. Spreadsheets, screenshots, photos, even notarized statements from neighbors who'd seen him breaking rules. My report was ironclad. 5. Step 4, the coup. Annual HOA meetings were usually ghost towns. Todd counted on that. But not this year. I spent weeks knocking on doors, explaining just enough to light a fire under people. Curiosity, anger, determination. By the time the meeting rolled around, the room was overflowing. Todd strutted to the front, acting like a martyr. He droned on about his sacrifices for the community, how hard it was to manage everything. That's when I stood, calm, steady. "Todd, could you explain some discrepancies in the budget?" He chuckled nervously. "I don't think this is the time." I locked eyes with him. "Actually, Todd, it's the perfect time." I handed out copies of my report. The room went silent, then erupted. Pages rustled. People whispered, shouted, demanded answers. Todd stammered, tried to wave it off. but the tide had turned. I called for a vote, and just like that, Todd was out. Todd losing the presidency was just the beginning. The new board hired an independent auditor. They confirmed every ugly detail. $50,000 embezzled, tens of thousands more mismanaged. Fraud, theft, betrayal. We reported him to the police, filed a civil lawsuit. His shady contractor buddy was banned from working in the county. Todd had to sell his house just to pay restitution and legal fees. His reputation shattered. His name became a neighborhood punchline. When he tried to join another HOA in a nearby town, people literally laughed him out of the room. And me? Every time I walk by Todd's old house, now owned by a wonderful family with a neat yard and kids playing in the driveway, I smile. The pool sparkles, the landscaping is beautiful, and HOA fees are lower than ever. Todd wanted power. Instead, he got humiliation. Imagine standing in that crowded meeting, watching the smug dictator of your neighborhood crumble as his own lies burn down around him. The same man who fined people for trash cans, exposed as a thief, his allies silent, his neighbors furious. And me? I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to fight. I just let the truth speak, and it buried him. Here's the thing about power. Abuse it long enough, and it always comes back to destroy you. Todd thought he was untouchable. But no one is untouchable when the truth comes out. If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and tell me in the comments. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And of course, subscribe for more epic stories of justice and karma, served cold.